eyes wide open, going behind the environmental headlines. Vested interest, page 29. No tool in your mental kit has more power to weigh the worth of statements or reveal the source of actions than the ability to spot vested interests. What are vested interests? These are the stakes, the financial or emotional investment we have in an idea, a policy, a business, a political party. If you owned an energy drink factory, your desire to make a profit will give you a vested interest in opposing laws that will keep your product out of school vending machines. You no doubt belong to a trade group that would hire lobbyists to fight such laws. Your trade group would hire public relations firms to improve the public's opinion of energy drinks through ads, articles, Facebook posts, tweets, and the talking heads you see interviewed on TV news. The information dispersed might or might not be accurate. Its goal isn't truth, but promoting energy drinks. This distinction is crucial. Impartial investigators have nothing to gain from their particular findings. They test and revise them in a continuing quest for accuracy. This is the model science follows. Vested interests' prime goal is preserving their power, not seeking truth. The evidence is all around you. When powerful people or institutions are accused of misconduct, from army massacres and police brutality cases to clergy sex abuse scandals and cyclist Lance Armstrong's use of performance-enhancing drugs, the first reaction is almost always to refute the charge, no matter how accurate. If truth is a threat to power, money, or reputation, there's a strong motive to cover it up. This makes it easier to sort truth from falsehood in the environmental debate. Whatever you read, see, or hear, consider the source. If you detect vested interests, look elsewhere for information. For more information on this, see How to Weigh Information on page 154. People know that statements coming from vested interests can't be trusted. We're aware that car dealers just want to sell us a car. The reason we're wary of their claims. Vested interests know we know this. Their solution, front groups. These inject industries' views of public discourse without revealing their source. Coming up with deceiving names for groups especially to fool the public is an art in the PR industry has perfected. You'll find these names at the bottom of campaign flyers, beneath the pro and con arguments in voters' guides, and included in articles and blog posts to give support from seemingly unbiased sources. Who would guess that the Citizens for Recycling First is a coal industry front group promoting the use of coal ash in industry? The Green Earth Society sounds green, but it's in favor of CO2 emissions. Sometimes the whole movements use deceptive names like the Wise Use Land Movement in western United States, which you think would focus on long-range planning and protection. Instead, it promotes logging, mining, and property owners' rights to do what they want with their land. It's amazing how many ways we've figured out to lie. Vested interest comes in all shapes and sizes, from makers of bubblegum to nuclear bombs, each fighting for its corner of the economy. The fossil fuel lobby is the biggest kid on the environmental block. Everybody needs energy, selling coal, oil, and gas, so many buyers have made fossil fuel suppliers immensely profitable. Do renewable power company hire lobbyists, file lawsuits, fund think tanks, and try to shape public opinion? Most definitely. But because they have so much less money to spend, their campaign is dwarfed in comparison. To earn their profits, fossil fuel businesses have invested trillions of dollars in oil rigs and supertankers, mines and gas stations, refineries and pipelines. If climate worries spur politicians to tax carbon emissions, push conservation, or speed a switch to other fossil fuels, those trillions will earn back far less money and turn out to be a poor investment. They'd be as unhappy as you would be if you'd spent big bucks on a laptop that died a month later. Less money coming in means lower profits and less of all things that money can buy, including power and respect. Somebody else will be at the top of the Fortune 500, which brings us to something you've probably observed. People hate to lose power. This is as true on Wall Street and in Congress as it is in high school cliques. Powerful interests fight to keep their standing. There are 535 members of Congress and an estimated 2,000 Washington lobbyists working solely on climate legislation, roughly 1,700 of them representing fossil fuels. That works out to more than 3 lobbyists per politician fighting against reducing greenhouse gases, a sign of how much money is at stake. In place of the Catholic Church, many of today's scientists find themselves facing off against the fossil fuel lobby, which is similarly powerful and determined not to give ground. But science and technology caused the ground to keep shifting. The Pony Express was put out of business when the telegraph was invented. The telegraph was doomed by the telephone. Coachmakers, saddlers, stablers, harness makers, and all other trade connected to horses were sent into a tailspin by the coming of the car. Progress has losers as well as winners, and the losers aren't happy naturally enough. The new news on fossil fuels is pushing them in a direction of the horse, but they won't go without a fight. This is the heart of the matter. We had no idea of fossil fuels' side effects for the first 2 centuries. There's no excuse for continuing down this road, but the companies giving us these fuels don't want to sacrifice their massive investments. Understandable for them, disastrous for us. What might change this? Read on.